Wes du har min friend, and welcome to yet another video, and happy Hobbit Day, my dear Hobbits. Oh yes, the time is here again to celebrate one of the greatest works of fantasy written by a man. And your good old European lore is, of course, a fantasy-oriented channel, mainly, although here and there a different thing appears. It is only appropriate that I make a video to celebrate this special day. I have been asked many times before to tell you, well, basically my Hobbit story, how I came to read The Hobbit, when it was for the first time when I read The Hobbit, and I believe that I have already talked about it on this channel, but why not remind ourselves of this very special day? All of us have our own special experience, our own story with Professor Tolkien and how we, well, got to know him. And of course, after I finish this video, I am asking you, my dear friends, to let me know in the comments down below what your first experience with The Hobbit or any book written by Professor Tolkien was. Mine was, if I remember correct, and I do remember correctly, of course, when I was 7 or 8 years old, I read, actually, the Hobbit graphic novel first, even before I read the Hobbit novel itself. The graphic novel is an adaptation of The Hobbit. The adaptation itself was written by Chuck Dixon, or Charles Dixon, as it is stated on the cover. And I have got a review of this graphic novel on my channel, as well as an interview with the man who wrote the adaptation, Master Chuck Dixon, who is also a very prolific novelist and a comic book writer, worldwide famous for inventing or co-inventing Bane, for example, one of the greatest Batman villains. And then, of course, I was so excited about the world of hobbits and dwarves and dragons and orcs. And of course, it was beautifully illustrated that I needed to go and read the novel itself when I was 8 years old. And then, of course, The Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. And then I got excited and very passionate about old myths and legends and old ancient languages and old English literature. And that was what shaped my academic career. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I always like to celebrate the Hobbit Day by rereading my favorite passage from the book. From the good book, my dear friends. And all of us have their own, well, favorite passages or chapters or just sentences or quotes from the Hobbit. But mine is the very beginning, when all of it started, and that depicts the peaceful, homely life of the hobbits, which I cherish above all things. So let me read the first 2 or so pages from the Hobbit to conclude this video as a celebration of Professor Tolkien and the Hobbit. Chapter 1. An unexpected party. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door, like a porthole, painted green, with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened onto a tube-shaped hole-like tunnel, a very comfortable tunnel without smoke, with panelled walls and floors, tiled and carpeted, provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. The Hobbit was fond of visitors. The tunnel wound on, going fairly, but not quite straight, into the side of the hill. The hill, as all the people for many miles round called it, and many little round doors opened out of it, first on one side and then on another. No going upstairs for the Hobbit. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cellars, pantries, lots of these. Wardrobes, he had whole rooms devoted to clothes. Kitchens, dining rooms, all were on the same floor, and indeed on the same passage. The best rooms were all on the left-handed side, going in, for these were the only ones to have windows, deep-set round windows looking over his garden and meadows beyond, sloping down to the river. The Hobbit was a very well-to-do Hobbit, and his name was Baggins. The Bagginses had lived in the neighbourhood of the hill for time out of mind, and people considered them very respectable, not only because most of them were rich, but also because they never had any adventures or did anything unexpected. You could tell what a Baggins would say on any question without the bother of asking him. This is a story of how a Baggins had an adventure, and found himself doing and saying things altogether unexpected. He may have lost the neighbour's respect, but he gained, well, you will see whether he gained anything in the end. The mother of our particular Hobbit. What is a Hobbit? I suppose Hobbits need some description nowadays, since they have become rare and shy of the big people, as they call us. They are, or were, a little people, about half our height and smaller than the bearded dwarves. Hobbits have no beards. There is little or no magic about them, except the ordinary everyday sort which helps them to disappear quietly and quickly when large stupid folk like you and me come blundering along, making a noise like elephants which they can hear a mile off. They are inclined to be fat in the stomach. They dress in bright colours, chiefly green and yellow, wear no shoes, because their feet grow natural leathery soles, and thick warm brown hair like the stuff on their heads, which is curly, have long clever brown fingers, good-natured faces, and laugh deep fruity laughs, especially after dinner, which they have twice a day when they can get it. So, my dear friends, this was my own personal favourite passage from The Hobbit, or There, and Back Again. And let me know in the comments down below what your favourite part of The Hobbit is, or what your experience, your first experience with The Hobbit was, or when you read it for the first time. So once again, let us celebrate this special day by reading our favourite passages and thinking about the good old traditional values that The Hobbit represent. And that'll be all. Thank you very much for watching, and namaste.